What's up, YouTube? Bobbles and Ball Cards back with another video. Doing something a little different this time. I'm gonna use the full frame. Y'all get to see my big head in full frame. Just because I want to talk about this topic. Don't really have anything to show. That sort of thing. So I just figured I would sit here and discuss this topic for a minute. Obviously, the price increases have been a major topic over the past week. So this is just something to kind of, discuss what could we be in for the next, 90 days, 6 months, something like that. What will we see? Will there be changes? Will everything be the same? Kind of discuss a few things. Before I get into this, if you have not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, the little thumbs up icon. If you don't like the video, feel free to downvote it. Everybody has their opinion. So, anyway, I want to talk today about, will the grading price increase affect the value in the secondary market? And this goes for basically every company, because they've all pretty much, except for the new guys, obviously, but they've all pretty much had some sort of price adjustment to the grading fees. And so what will that do? And I'll say I kind of had the idea to do this video already, because I've been reading a lot of comments, reading people say that they went on and raised the prices on their cards, both raw and graded. But then earlier today, I actually came across a video. I know not everybody that watches our videos or is in the Facebook group, that sort of thing, is into Pokemon. This channel was founded and is majority sports cards, but I do enjoy, collecting and buying the Pokemon stuff. So I watch Pokemon videos, comic videos, all sorts of stuff. I'm not dedicated just into to sports cards when I watch, YouTube videos and stuff. And I even watch people that go out and they buy like Amazon return pallets and stuff like that. Me and the wife really just like watching a variety of things. But I want to give a shout out to the guy's channel. It's Squeak's Game World, and he was talking about Pokemon cards and what he believes could affect the market. And he brought up a lot of good points that a lot of people may not think about. There's been a lot of discussion within sports cards, and I've even said it, when backlogs and people start getting the influx in cards back, will it affect prices? And he goes into talking about, I'm not going to go into it. You can go check his video out. But basically, he was talking about how the backlogs almost help the market versus hurt the market. And it made a lot of sense. So anyway, if you want, go check his video out. Again, his channel is Squeak's Game World. And it is a Pokemon, video talking about that market. But it can correlate directly to sports cards, too. So, the first question I have, or topic is, will raw and graded prices rise due to increased cost to grade, which could lead to more raw collectors and less people grading? I don't know exactly how much effect it'll have on directly graded prices, but I do believe it will, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be priced out of priced out of grading raw. And we could see more people, like I said, kind of think about what you're sending in. I'm never going to tell somebody what they should or should not send in, but it's going to make a lot of people rethink some things that before at a lower rate they would send in to get graded. And now they may decide, okay, I'm just going to sell this card raw. If I don't hit a 10, I'm going to lose money. Or even if I do get a 10, the profit margin after the grading fee and eBay fees and all that stuff is going to be so slim that the risk just isn't constituted because, if you don't get that 10, then, you're going to lose money. The other side to that is a lot of people, sometimes send in cards, especially new product. They'll just send in, a lot of rookies and inserts and things like that. And then they'll notice the effect with turnaround time. By the time they get it back, the player could be hurt. He might not have been as good as people expected. His prices have dropped. Obviously, more is out on the market as far as, a new product, or, obviously more of that particular card, that sort of thing. So sometimes the value just doesn't constitute the risk. So do I think raw values could go up? Definitely. If the demand for just raw cards, like, somebody says, hey, I'm going to shy away from buying graded cards. I can't get my cards graded because, I don't have the funds, or, whatever. They may just start buying and collecting raw more. It is a good possibility. I also think, when we look at what the prices are today, you're obviously not going to take a whole lot of risk on a $5 or $2 to $5 card, because the increase in uptick in the value of the graded card isn't going to constitute the grading fee. So we could see some value increase in raw. I do believe that. But again, this is something that we got to keep an eye on over the next, I'd say 3 to 6 months. We should have a good gauge on it. Next one I want to go into is, will the SGC market get more demand with faster turn times, or will more to market hurt the value? Now, what I mean here is this is a double-edged sword, okay? If SGC gets more attention and more people start grading with them, you have two sides to that coin. You have more eyes on the product, you have more eyes on that slab, but you're also going to have more people grading their cards with SGC. You're going to have more on the market, and the demand for the SGC slab has to be there in order for the market value to rise, or rather than fall, especially on new stuff. Now, I had mentioned, and this will go into the next thing I wanted to talk about, I mentioned how important it is to get first to market. So obviously with SGC, if they keep the turnaround times like they are alleging, they're going to see a lot of cards hit market first, and then the SGC graded card will be able to set the market value. The big question is, though, is the demand for the SGC slab also going to rise, just because more people are using them? And I think this is where things happened last year, when more people started using SGC. They were just using them to get the cards graded, but were they actually going out and buying the SGC slab? And, that's something that PSA has to its advantage. The Luca Prism is talked about all the time. There's thousands upon thousands of those out there. And why is the price continuously going up? Well, PSA has that market interest. They obviously have more people looking for the PSA slab. So let's say, I don't know, 2021 Topps Joe Adele. If we get, and I'm just going to throw some numbers out there, but let's say 5,000 SGC 10s hit the market of Joe Adele. And then there's 10,000 eventually PSA 10s hit the market. The demand is going to have to be, if there's 5,000 on the market of the SGC, there's going to need to be, over 5,000 people with the demand of buying that card. Otherwise, you're going to have the situation where if you only have 2,000 people looking for one and they buy theirs, then there's 3,000 more that people are going to have that they're going to try to sell. And then that's where the sellers start, undercutting each other and that sort of thing. And that hurts the market value. You have to have the demand for the product, or else the product's going to sit on the shelf, in a sense. We noticed early last year, there was some great talks. SGC was making moves in the market. And, then when PSA and stuff opened back up and more influencers out there started talking PSA and everything, and more new people came in that didn't know about SGC per se, were flushing right into the PSA. Basically, the PSA market got a huge jump in demand because that's what everybody was hearing about. And that's why I said I want to continue putting out SGC content. I want to make sure, hopefully more people are aware of the SGC brand, the Tux, and get that attention out there, because if the demand rise for the SGC slab, then the prices and the market values can definitely go up. If it's all one-sided and people are only looking for one company, then obviously that company's always going to have the higher market value. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just the way it is. Now, with SGC setting the market, and it goes back to topic number 1, will graded prices rise? If we can set the market with the SGC price and then the PSA cards, hit the market, or the BGS cards or whoever, then the price of those may rise to what they, higher than they were before. We've seen it last year with like the 2020 top Boba Fett, and I was sitting here shaking my head because people were paying such a high amount because there wasn't many to the market. But that's because everybody was wanting, that card in the PSA slab. And the demand just wasn't there on the SGC side. So the market demand has to change. And I think setting the market will help the SGC value, but it could also help the other companies, because once that market is already set, then, are we going to go back to the same situation where once the first PSAs or the first BGSs, or, I'll even talk CSG or HGA, which I'm going to get into them in a minute. But if the market demand rises for SGC, then the market values also will rise. So next up, I want to, like I just said, I want to speak on HGA and CSG. I know right now people are all like, oh, but HGA, their prices are outselling other companies. Well, that goes right back to what I was just talking about. They're a new company. They have a colorful flip. They had an interest with a new style grade, with the computer thing and all of that. But let's also think about the fact they limit the amount of cards that are available on the market. So, and I don't take these numbers as an exact because I don't know, but let's say they do 1,000 cards a week and those cards hit the market. Let's say like 600 of them hit the market. That's a very small, market availability, or market supply. And then you take that 600 and it might be 400 different cards. Who knows? But if the demand is there right now because they're a new company and they have the colorful flip and, this and that, then you're going to have more people, more demand than you do supply. And so it makes perfect sense if their values are strong right now. But what happens when they start getting more cards out there? People have discussed, well, they could franchise their company and they could start doing more and this and that. To be realistic, if they have an interest, that may hurt them. It'll help them as a company in their pockets because they can do more, make more. But on the market end of it, the more that goes out on the market could potentially hurt them because they would have to have the demand in order to continuously drive the value. So that's something to think about. CSG, they're starting to trickle onto the market. They are known with CGC and stuff and the Pokemon cards and everything. Everything I'm hearing about the way their slab looks and stuff. And once again, that just proves a point with HGA and CSG. People buy the plastic instead of the card. It's something I've talked about. I'll buy any slab if the price is right and it's a card I want. But I'm not going to pay more for one slab if I can buy it in another slab at a lower rate and it's the same card. So with the CSG, and you're hearing people talking about, well, the slab's ugly, and then HGA, and you hear people talking about they like the flip, that goes directly correlated with things I've said over the course of, 8 months or whatever, when I've talked markets and that sort of thing. It's crazy, but there's so much, focus on the plastic instead of the card itself, and that just blows my mind that it can dictate the value of what we should be buying and collecting to begin with. I'm sure people that only collect raw sit back and laugh because they have the actual card. They can put it in a one-touch or a top loader and they don't look at it any differently, whether it's in a one-touch or a top loader. It's just in two different pieces of plastic, but on the graded side, it's funny to actually think about that, one piece of plastic can garner so much more value just because of a company name on it. So anyway, the last thing I want to talk about real quick is, will wax start getting cheaper due to the increase in cost if market doesn't rise? So what I mean by that is, if the market value of the graded cards does not rise, or if I'm, completely wrong and the raw values don't change at all, will that help us with the price or availability of wax? Will people stop grabbing all the wax to flip? Will we start finding it on the shelves because people's not going to think that they can go and rip a pack and send the card in at a lower rate and it's going to come back and it's going to be exponentially more in value? Will people stop buying marked up wax? I don't have an answer to that. If the values do drop though, both raw and graded, or if they don't change at all, it could affect the wax market. Now, it's gotten so out of hand that I don't know if we'll ever see it like it was in 2019 or early 2020. I doubt that very seriously, but it could have some sort of effect. But again, all of these things we won't know immediately. It's something that I think we should keep an eye on over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. Let's see how SGC, let's see them keep up with that turnaround time. Let's see if that helps that market. Let's see if the demand rises for their slab. PSA, in 3 to 6 months should start having a good bit of that influx from back when August and, card prices rose at that time. People should be getting those back, again, within the next 3 to 6 months, I would assume. So that's going to be more of those slabs on the market. HGA, they'll be around that, for 3 to 6 months. They'll have more cards on the market. Let's see what their share looks like. CSG, they'll be out for a couple months. And then, of course, you have Beckett, which, you know, I don't talk much about them because they don't really give you much to talk about. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. They just don't share much. And you don't really hear a lot of people talk about them. So, but anyway, guys, if you wouldn't mind, again, hit the subscribe, click that little like button, turn the bell on so you know when I upload a video. But also do me a favor and comment down below. I would like to hear your opinions on this. See what people in the hobby are thinking. Do you think that market will go up, or could we see a dip and a dive? Do you think more people will stick to raw, or do you think it will not matter very much and people will continue sending in, you know, anything and everything, and everything will go about its, you know, same course? But anyway, thank you for watching. I do appreciate all of you. And as always, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and until the next video, I'm out.